He's here to explain what the jam is all about, and will show you some of the more promising concepts to come out of it. Rob Thiebe.
Good morning, everyone. Well, let me start with saying a game for health jam. Why is that important? What's games for health, of course? And why do we think that games for health is so important for a University of Technology and a Fontes University? So basically what we do in both the Eindhoven University of Technology in the Playful Interaction Department and in the Fontes University of ICT in the Serious Gaming Department is we work with play, with games for a purpose. We try to change behavior, we try to change people's life by using games, play, playful interaction. And Game for Health is of course a really important topic for that. In the Sixpack project and the Playfit project, the two big research projects, we try to do that by designs, by prototypes, by placing things in schools, in elderly houses, in all around the world, trying to motivate people to be physically active, or to be socially active, and that sort of stuff. I'm presenting here I'm doing just the introduction. I have 3 talented students who will present their games. And of course, I didn't organize it on my own. I had a great team of people organizing it with me. You can see them on the slide. A game jam, for the ones who don't know what it is exactly, it's a game competition, a game design competition, where basically you invite a group of students, of designers, of professionals on a Friday morning. You give them an assignment, make a game for health that motivates people to be physically active, and you give them 50 hours, and then they all start working without sleeping. They code a game within 50 hours, they play test it, they change it, they test it again. And after 50 hours you have wonderful results, playable games, things you can study. So that's the principle of a game jam. Basically what we did, you see some pictures here, we invited everyone in Eindhoven, put them all together in a big room, and there we had students from industrial design, a lot of students from game design, game development, ICT students, some people from sports, so we had a whole combination of students working together, some alumni, on creating those games. And the main theme is of course health, it's called Game for Health Jam. But that's not health, we don't want to focus on health in hospitals or health as in caretaking. We're focusing on the prevention side of care, and in specific on physical health. So we just want to make sure that people from a young age start being physically active throughout the day, so they don't get all sorts of problems later on in their life. So it's focus on prevention, on physical activity throughout the day. And this year the focus was on public play. So if you imagine a train station, a bus station, a swimming pool, you're there already, but most of the time you're not really moving. At the bus station, you're waiting for the bus, you have some spare time. In the swimming pool, you see that a lot of teenagers are just hanging around, sitting around. So the challenge to the students was, well, can you design a game that motivates people to be just a little bit physically active while in that public area? And of course, that gives a lot of challenges because you have to track people in, they're not planning to play a game, they're waiting for the bus, or they're waiting for the train. It's a different context, you don't have computer screens in a train station. So with all those requirements and guidelines, the students just went wild and designed some cool games. I will quickly show you a movie that gives you an impression of the event, and after that we'll present 3 of the winning cases here on stage. But more important, you can play them all in the atrium, it's upstairs. I'll say it again at the end of the presentation, so I invite you all, please come and play the games, because that's the only way to truly experience how they change behavior. So as you could see, it was quite a busy event, a fun event, but most of all a really productive event. And remember, it was just 50 hours to design the games, develop them, test them, present them, and win the prize with the official international jury. I would now like to give the floor to Sander. He will present the first game and tell you a lot more about it than I can.
Hello, I'm Sander Swinkels from Team Hardless, and we developed the games still during the game jam. With our game, we are trying to motivate people to move around more in public places, and we are doing this by adding a playful element to the environment. So, what is our game? Everyone who walks in the playfield that we have on the ground will automatically become a player and get the tail which follows him around on the ground. And with our game, we want to make people move by stealing each other's tail. And the goal in our game is to get the longest tail. So if you actually want to win, you have to run after each other and steal each other's tail. Our game is aimed at public places such as marketplaces, streets, in front of a school, or events such as Lowlands. And basically it can be played everywhere where people walk by. The fun thing about our game is that everyone who walks by automatically becomes a player. So even if you just pass by our game, you can just walk by without being interfered or anything, but you still are a player in a game, so you still influence the game because your tail can get stolen. And now I would like to show you a movie of our game that we made at Dutch Design Week last week. So we are Hardless, and if you are looking for more information or got any questions, you can visit us at our stand at the first floor. Thank you for your attention.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Mark Pauwels from representing Barcode Bears, and there should be a video playing now. It is. We designed water draw as for in a public playground, the pool. Our key features were cooperative play and self-expression, which we try to add very clearly in water draw. We didn't actually take a lot of part at the game jam, but the concept was the same. So as you can see in the movie, it's a bit laggy. It's actually, you can compete against each other with two teams, two bricks. You can draw with two bricks, which will result in color on the screen. The screen is will be filled with some with bombs and balloons. Those are tactical objects which you can move around or hit. to get an advantage about the other team. And if you're interested in the game, you can always come to the first floor, so you can play it yourself, because be cool and conquer the pool. Thanks for your attention.
Good morning. I am Robin Fokker from Power Trippers. Our game is called Public Space Invaders. Because the theme was games for public places, we thought of a few goals the game should achieve. Most of all, it would have to be intuitive, so people would actually don't have to need manuals or anything to play it, no tutorials. And most of all, it would be a walk-in, walk-out experience to amount the most to it. So people would come in, play a bit, and walk out and go on with their business. To achieve that, we had to actually define players as being persons inside the play area. So people who would, for instance, on the station, on the train station, would be, some people would be actively playing the game, actually standing in the play area, watching everybody move about. And at the same time, you would have people just going their own business, walking past, not actually participating in the game on their own accord, to actually be busy with the game itself, but just by walking through the play area, really just influence the game a bit. We used the camera to track it, to track the people, and use a screen on the wall, or actually just have something to actually see the game being played. Because it would be in a public place and people generally like to interact with one another, we had two modes, a co-op mode and a versus mode. Co-op would be the most efficient one right now on stations, but yeah, the versus mode is also pretty much, people like that one very much too. What you would try to do was to hit other players, which would generate score, hit objects in the co-op, which would generate score, and in the versus you would try to avoid players at the same time. And with the co-op you would actually try to participate not only by getting hit, but by also a few people actually shooting. So if you have any questions or you would like to try it, because that would be the best way to actually know the game, come by our stand up top the big stairs right next to here. And yeah, I welcome you all.
So that were three pretty cool games, don't you agree? Within 50 hours, so that's really remarkable. But besides that, you might wonder, okay, well, you have those games, nice, fun. What what can you do with them? What's the next step? Why do we want to do it as research facilities? And I'll quickly go into that. As a larger project for 4 years, we're trying to understand how to motivate people in public spaces, in and around the school. How can you make them curious day after day after day? How can you invite them to play, to be physically active? And those games, of course, provide perfect case studies for those questions. Why do the games work? What's fun about them? What's not fun about them? And basically we identified 3 main principles that we see in all those games and that really work really well. And that's, first of all, you need to invite and seduce people, elicit them, you need to drag them in. It's not like with a Kinect or a Nintendo Wii that people plan to play a game. No, they're doing something else, they're waiting, they're just chatting to friends. And you need to make them so curious, so attracted to a game, that they immediately want to start playing. You see it really nice in the examples as well. Some of the games you could just walk in and you already are a player without starting the game. With others, you're just swimming and you encounter something, you start to discover what it is. So that sort of curiosity is mandatory to those public games. Second, it's all about emergent gameplay, and with that we mean it's not like a traditional game that you play, you get a score, you win, and that's it. Now it's really emerging from the players. If I would play it with some of my friends, I would probably play a totally different game than if 5 elderly women would play it, or if 5 other people of a certain age would play it. The social interaction, that's mandatory to those games, but also the open-endedness of the games. It's not, we don't define how they have to play it, they can play it any way they want. You could also see it in the examples, for example, other people walk by, they influence your game, so the game is different every time you play, and that makes sure that the game remains fun time after time, because there's a different game. And the third quality is resonating, and with that we mean that it's tailored to the user, the context, the values of the user. For example, teenagers, they're really spending a lot of time with their identity, exploring stuff, communicating. With those games you allow that, for example in the swimming pool, by expressing yourself with those blocks, by drawing, by fighting with each other. That fits their way of playing. Well, if you would play it again with elderly, for example, they can play it in their own way. So it's important that it resonates with the normal actions, the normal behavior. Well, we've now had about 30 or 40 games in the two or three game jams that we organized in explorations of ourselves, and we're really starting to see a tendency of what works, what doesn't work, but we're still far from finished, of course. So the next year there will be a game jam again, and we're exploring a lot of things ourselves, and still a lot to be done. Last but not least is, again, come and play. Please come to the atrium. If you leave this room and you go to the left, all the way up the stairs, then you can play all three of the games. They're quite fun if it's not too sunny, because the sun destroys our beamer a bit. But there's plenty of time in breaks when there's no sun to play with it. And with that, I would like to end our presentation. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Steven and his brilliant students. Just a few short questions over here. Why does this, if you can stand over here, why does this Games Jam work so well? What's the secret?
Well, I think the main secret is that it's first of all fun to do, and you have those enthusiastic students. They all come together in the weekends to do it. I hope for fun, at least was it fun. Yeah.
But it's 50 hours non-stop?
Well, we had to leave the building for 6 hours every night, so then we went to the sleeping area, but most of them didn't really sleep and kept coding even there. So.
Really? Okay. And now, getting people to move around in public spaces, yes, the idea is great, but when I'm waiting for a train, I don't feel like starting jumping around because people might throw me some weird glances. But how do you get people to move around in those sort of situations?
We are trying to make people move around with our game by adding a simple playful element, and you can just choose if you want to play. So if you don't want to play, you can just walk along.
Yeah, right.
And if you do want to play, you can decide how you want to play yourself. So you can either just walk or you can run, you can do whatever you want yourself.
Yeah.
So it's like tag, you can make your own rules. If you want to bump in each other, you can do that. But if like elderly people play, they can just walk without having any trouble playing our game.
Anybody question? Well, all go all see the games upstairs during the break. I want to thank you very much, and good luck.